Okay, it's Sunday again, and once more we have a game lined up, a match-up we haven't had yet, which would be my Dark Elves versus Size Ogres. I think he's got quite a similar list as he had last week, but let him tell you about it. So, for me, it's a lot of my similar Dark Elf army that I've taken before. It's, of course, this time it's 3,000 points. I think I've been playing 2,500 before. I don't know, it might have been 3,000. Anyway, the main difference with this army compared to the ones I've been playing previously is I dropped those damn cold ones. The stupidity test. Even though I'm leadership 9, a lot of times with reroll, I've failed it so many times that I just got fed up with it. So drop those. So I'll run you through what I've got. I have, we're playing Battle Line, by the way. So I've got 10 Crossbowmen, 5 Shades, a Hydra, 20 Blackguard, 5 Harpies, that's the Hydra, 10 Crossbowmen, 29 Spearmen with my level 4 of Shadow, 5 Harpies, a Master on a Pegasus, 30 Corsairs, 10 Crossbowmen with the level 2 of Shadows, 5 Harpies, Cauldron of Blood, 21 Witch Elves, another Hydra, and another 5 Shades. So, pretty nasty list. Could have made it a bit worse by making him a Dreadlord, but I decided to not to go that far just yet. With him, sounds like there's a new book coming out for the Dark Elves, which may be good for Sai, because these guys certainly don't mess around in their current incarnation. But then, nor does his gut staff, so we'll have to see how that goes. So, hand you over to Sai, see what he's got in his list.
Okay, yeah, my Ogre army is slightly changed, mainly because I want to use some of the other models that I've got, and that I actually have fully painted. So, I've adjusted it. Yeah, I also found out the main reason why, from last week I think I was moaning because I couldn't see the use of man-eaters with the brace of Ogre pistols, but having realised that they're a 24-inch range, all of a sudden makes them actually pretty good. So yeah, with that knowledge I will probably be using them at a later date, and I'm kind of sat here thinking that they might have been useful here for shooting at. But
yeah, but to be fair, if you had those, you wouldn't be standing there.
No, I kind of figured that
Ollie standing by this.
Ollie wouldn't be quite that silly. So yeah, with my army, I have a Saber Tusk, another Saber Tusk. Then I have a unit of 3 Lead Belchers and an Iron Blaster. Then 4 Mournfang Cavalry with all trimmings. 10 Noblars. Another 3 Lead Belchers. Then there's this unit here, which I'm particularly pleased of. That's a fully painted unit of 9 Iron Guts, including my banner, which I'm so proud of, but I am going to have to show off with Ollie's phone. Should be able to make it out, hopefully. And with this little guy here, who unfortunately I spent about 3 hours painting because I got sick to death of doing ogres. But yes, that is my unit that's replacing the man-eaters. Fancy giving balls a try, because I've changed up the magic setup a bit, which we'll go through in a sec. I have another 10 Noblar Trappers, another Iron Blaster. Yeah, I really need to buy some Iron Blasters and some Mournfang, because unfortunately, like I've got, Ollie managed to find me some epic deal. Was it 4 new in the box, even unopened Iron Guts from back in the previous edition with the old box art. So exactly the same models for about £12. So yeah, those bad boys have been assembled and are in the army. So that is pretty much my unit complete. So yeah, I just need to sit and have a mass painting session. Although I do need 2 Iron Blasters and a couple of Mournfang. and just some miscellaneous Noblars, which I can pick up here and there. But yeah, so that is the Gutstar of Destiny that won me the game twice last week. Completely unchanged. That's 15 guts, and a Bruiser BSB, level 4 Slaughtermaster, and a level 2 Butcher. This time around, however, I have changed things about. So the Butcher is actually level 2 of them all, and the Slaughtermaster is a level 4 of Beasts. So yeah, the possibility of, you know, giving all of the Ogre characters there an extra 3 attacks, and also the possibility of giving them all +3 toughness, suddenly means that Ollie might struggle to actually pick at them, even if he does cast Occam's Mind Raider. They will still be fairly tanked up. So yeah, that should be interesting. So yeah, with that. Oh, sorry, I should say there's another lone Saber Tusk, handling more than 6 inches away from the rest of the army. And yeah, that is that. So Ollie won the roll to see who goes first. So we will see you at the end of Dark Elves turn 1.
Okay, so it's the end of Dark Elves turn 1, and I pushed everything forward. This guy's jumped in the building, everything just moved up, as you can see. There's no charges declared, although I'm gunning the Hydras towards him because I'm sensing they're not long for this world. Then in the magic phase, I rolled a 7, so I got a channel, so he had 6. So I started off with the Power of Darkness. He let it through because I stabbed a dude to make it a bit more, to up the casting cost a bit, so make it a bit less appealing to dispel. And I managed to cast a was it -2 strength to these guys. Then I cast Melkos, which he dispelled. Then I cast another Power of Darkness with my level 2, which he dispelled it, didn't he? Yeah. And then I cast another Melkos with a level 2 on these guys, reducing their movement by 2. So that should slow them down a little bit. Then in the shooting phase, these guys shot at the lead belchers. Actually managed to kill one, even though they needed 6s to hit, which was nice. The Shades managed to nick off 1 more wound. These guys did nothing to the other lead belchers. These guys managed to kill 1 Noblar, which is more than a Gorgon can manage. And these guys shot off a Saber Tusk. So some quite humble shooting there, but it's at least stuff's dying. So it's a start. And that was the end of my turn 1.
Okay, it's the end of Ogres turn 1. I moved everyone up. There were no charges. These guys stayed where they were, although the cannon did move a little bit to shoot. The Morn Fang just twiddled around very slightly. These guys moved forward. Everyone else moved up. He moved back and around to shoot. And these guys just sort of drifted a little bit sideways, just to get out of the way. Then in the magic phase, I rolled 7, no channels. 3 dice, Curse of Anra here on the Witch Elves, which I got, and then unfortunately it was because it was a miscast, but thankfully I rolled a 7, which meant everyone in base contact was hit, which rather unfortunately I had placed there. Which meant that the BSB took a wound, as did the Butcher, but thankfully for the Iron Guts, I rolled 2 1s, so only 1 Iron Gut is wounded rather than losing 1 guy, which is rather nice. So yeah, with that was a rather rapid end to my magic phase, as I then lost the remaining 4 dice that I had. I carried on with shooting. Using the lead belchers, I shot off all the handlers. Got a couple of wounds on the Hydra, but its regen saved its arse. Then I cannoned off 2 wounds, which was rather nice. I then did the same with the other Hydra. Would have liked to have killed it, but alas, cannons don't ever seem to let me roll more than higher than a 2. Usually unless it's some insignificant freaking chariot or like single flipping goblin doom, like, well, probably some fanatic or something. I don't know, I'd roll a 6, but
at the end of the day, you hit it and did wounds to it.
At the end of the day, I didn't lose these on turn 1 like I normally do, so I'll settle for that. And yeah, that was pretty much the end of that. So we now go to Dark Elves turn 2.
Okay, so it's the end of Dark Elves turn 2. Right, so obviously the Hydra lost his handlers, they went a bit crazy. So he charged into the Noblars, who failed their terror test and run. So then I attempted to redirect on Leadership 6 and made it, and charged into his lead belchers. These guys, the shades moved up. These guys stayed where they were, so they get plenty of shooting at their saber tusks, and everything else just shuffled up as you can see it. These guys obviously have the Curse of Banner here. I gave them the 5-up ward from the Cauldron, and everything else as you see it. Like I say, these guys moved out of the building just so they could get some shooting done on the Gut Star, and he flew up as well. So then in the magic phase, I managed to cast something. I don't think I cast anything actually. Oh yeah, he scrolled my Withering to reduce the toughness of the Gut Star. He dispelled a miasma, if not both miasmas in fact, and then managed to dispel the minus strength on them as well. So good magic phase for Sly, which certainly beats his first one, which managed to blow up some of his stuff. So yeah, so not a great magic phase for me, but fair enough. Then in the shooting phase, these guys killed a saber tusk. These guys shot at that saber tusk and, believe it or not, failed to wound it, even though they got a few shots on him. Hitting on 4s or hitting on 3s isn't as good as hitting on 6s apparently. That was it for those. These guys shot the balls, managed to do a wound, I think. Yeah, they managed to do a wound with balls. These guys shot the guts, managed to kill one. The shade shot and managed to kill another one, so that was nice. Hydra just moved up there, just out of the arc of sight of these guys. It's just counts as a forest. Then in close combat, oh sorry, so I've still got to fire my life taker from my level 4. She did fire it last round, but she didn't actually manage to kill anything, so I'll do that now. And then, oh sorry, in the close combat I ate the balls, the lead belchers. Did 5 wounds to them, beat them in combat. Obviously being frenzied I thought I'd overrun, but according to the rules you don't actually overrun. If you pursue and catch them, you just stay where you are, so I got to reform. Which is unfortunate because I wanted to overrun into that ball unit, but apparently I'm not allowed to, so you're going to get loads of impact on me now. Bit of a weird one, because I just assumed that frenzy units did overrun no matter what, but apparently they don't. So if you pursue a unit and catch it, you don't overrun any further, you just stay where you are and are allowed to reform. So bad news for this Hydra in this game, but good news for my Savage Orc Big 'Un, as Sly pointed out, so I don't mind that so much. So I'm just going to find my life taker, and then it'll be Sly's turn 2.
Okay, it's the end of Ogres turn 2. We had some charges. I had first off was my Saber Tusk, who charged the Shades. Shades decided that they were going to Scarper, but I rolled 16, and Ollie unfortunately rolled a double 1 for his distance. I caught them and chewed them all up, but then alas smashed into the flank of the Black Guard, and as you can see, it didn't end well. Although I will point out that 7 re-rollable strength 4 hits, he only just got 2 wounds, and only just enough to put it down. So much laughing on that. In other charges, I charged the Noblars at the unit there in an attempt to see if I could try and assassinate his wizard. Unfortunately for me, the Dark Elves seem quite apt at shooting, and yeah, unfortunately skewered up quite a lot of the Noblars, and then managed to butcher them before they even got a chance. So the remaining Noblar desperately stabbed out trying to put a wound, but then didn't, and then decided that he was an Scarper. So the last remaining member of the Immortals who killed that, what was it, Gorgon, a couple of games ago, decided to Scarper. So he's off to go and find some more Noblars to join his Immortals. Even though he was the guy skulking at the back who didn't actually manage to hit the Gorgon last time, he's carrying all the glory. Then the final charge was my Bulls unit, who charged into the Hydra in the magic phase. I buffed him up with my level 2. I gave my level 2 the Grutsicle, which meant that he was getting like a rather nice +4 to cast, which meant I actually got Troll Guts and Spy Marrow off on the unit. I was expecting a bit of a nasty dust up. I then tried to cast Curse of Anra here on the Witch Elves, which Ollie dispelled, and then I tried to cast Wiston's Wild Form on them, which Ollie rolled a double 6 for dispel. So unfortunately didn't get anything off on there. But as it turned out, it was enough that I could put a wound on the Hydra, and then the Hydra whiffed back. And I managed to then obviously won the combat and managed to chase him down and nom him, and then reformed. So yeah, that was rather nice. So with that was pretty much it. The Iron Guts moved up a bit. Unfortunately, the Noblars, which I heartily expected to carry on fleeing, which would have been very, very useful, decided that they weren't going to flee and were in fact going to come back into the fight. Totally got in the way of the Poxy Mournfang, as I had expected the Noblars to die horribly, and yeah. So yeah, with that in mind, the shooting phase didn't really come to anything. I managed to crack the barrel of the cannon on this one, turning it into a chariot. This would have scored a perfect hit, but we then realised that because they were in close combat, I couldn't actually do with the positioning of the Hydra. I couldn't actually place a legal shot to shoot at that. So instead, I tried to shoot Ollie's general, and unfortunately, I didn't roll quite enough, and it just stopped 2 inches short there. So yeah, that was pretty much the end of the shooting phase. The lead belchers didn't really do much. They just shot at the guys, but just couldn't manage any hits. So yeah, with that, we are now on to Dark Elf, turn 3.
Okay, it's the end of Dark Elves turn 3, and if you're a Wood Elf player right now, this would be a dream situation. Well, it's for the Dark Elves, in fact. Got a nice little conclave of death there, and it's nicely redirected this Gut Star.
If you were a Wood Elf, you still
wouldn't. Hydra behind them.
If you were a Wood Elf, you still wouldn't have anything capable of touching that fucking Gut Star.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so there was no charging. So I moved the Harpies up to redirect the Gut Star, these to redirect the Balls, and I moved everything around, so I got nice positions. These guys just moved up a bit, because there's no penalty shooting. Hydra came up behind them. Obviously he's only got strength 3 breath weapon, but I had plans for that. He flew over here to stop them turning around and running backwards, like Sly normally does. It's one of his favourite tactics is feinting me. He just says, "Hey look, there's a unit for you to attack," and then runs away. So it really annoys me. So this time I came prepared. His Mournfang is still kind of caught up in the traffic jam over here, thanks to those Noblars. Love those guys, that's why I haven't shot at them. And these guys just stayed where they were because they were in range of the lead belchers, so they could shoot at them. And then in the magic phase, I failed to cast miasma, which put my level 4 out of the game. Then I used a lot of my dice to cast another miasma, which I dispelled. But he still had 4 dice because we had 8 to 8, because it was 8 to me, 6 to him, then he channeled twice. So I used my other 4 dice on my level 2. Luckily rolled quite high, so I failed to dispel it, but I managed to get a withering off. Yeah, it is the withering, to reduce their toughness by 3. So that was excellent. So I'm in toughness 1 at the moment. And then I just unleashed hell, well, such as it is. Hydra managed to kill 1 guy. Unfortunately, he's only strength 3, so still had his armour save, so he didn't do as much as I would have liked. These guys killed a guy. These guys may have nicked a few wounds. These guys may have did a wound, but on the whole, I did manage to kill, I think, 3 of them in total. These guys managed to kill a lead belcher, who was previously wounded from the shades earlier in the game. But he did pass his panic test, like he always does. And that was pretty much it for shooting. Once again, my level 4 life safety, yeah. One day I'll bloody remember that thing.
Just don't take it, and then you won't have to worry about remembering it.
I'm going to shoot
to be fair, in this situation,
yeah,
certainly worth doing.
So, here you go, got it live here. Yeah, miss! 2 up is just too hard. I don't think I've got 3 hits with it so far. One wound. You get a 6 up arm save as well. There's only strength 4. No, okay. So, takes another wound. Well, at least there's something. That's 30 points well spent. So that was it for that. Then there was no close combat, was there?
No.
No, okay. So it's the end of my turn 3.
Okay, it's the end of Ogres turn 3. After getting myself into a rather nasty pickle, I've had to kind of go the only sane ogre route possible and attempt to fight my way free. So basically charged the harpies, both units harpies with my ogre units, and then chopped them up. Magic phase, I got a good one. I got like 7 dice. Unfortunately, time of use for Dispel Scroll coupled with some nice rolling from Ollie, and he managed to stop all my castings. So unfortunately I couldn't get Troll Guts off on that unit. That would have been exceptionally useful. So they've just got to kind of face whatever's coming to them now. So with that in mind, it's kind of not great. Everyone else had to sort of manoeuvre around, position themselves, and the last remaining immortal is fleeing from battlefield, although he did manage to inflict a wound on me as I leant across the table, and I impaled myself on him. That's pretty much it. In the shooting phase, I tried to cannon the Hydra, and my luck came back to me, and I rolled a misfire followed by 1 and wiped it out. So everything going as usual. Last week must have just been a little problematic blip. With that in mind, that was pretty much all I could do. So I obviously defeated them and reformed to take the charge from the front. A reason that, I'm getting charged either way, so I might as well take it from the front with the big units. Let me see. Yeah, that was sort of pretty much it. So yeah, with that, it's down to Dark Elves turn 4, which depending on how it goes, could be the last turn.
Okay, so it's the end of turn 4, and as you can probably see here, it's also the end of the game. So I had a beautiful setup. It was couldn't be happier with it. So I put the +1 attack on the Corsairs. That was it for that. And then charge-wise, I declared a charge with the Hydra. the Witch Elves, the Corsairs into the Gut Bus. I charged my Master and the Blackguard into the Bulls, and these things just moved up. Then in the Magic phase, I got 10 dice to size 6, and I just threw all 10 and stabbed a dude at an Occam's Mine Razor. And these guys was a little bit unnecessary because they were only toughness 1, but I wanted to get past the armour, and these guys were facing the 3 characters who were actually toughness 2, so I didn't like those odds. So I Occam's Mine Razor it, threw 11 dice at it, like I say, and ironically didn't get a miscast. Sorry, 2 dice at anything and get a miscast, but 11 dice, I don't even roll a 6. Luckily, so I had no Dispel Scroll left. He threw all these dice, and unfortunately didn't roll a double 6 to dispel it. So, got it off. Then there was no shooting, and then we went straight to close combat. We did this one. We did that one first, but I'll get to that in a sec. We did this one, I charged in, I did 11 combat. I got 11 combat residents. I killed 2 balls. 13. Killed 2 balls and did a wound to another one, or 2 wounds to another one. Then in return he killed the back rank of my Blackguard, but I still won, and I pursued with the Master and caught them. So they died. And then in this combat it was nasty. So the Witch Elves opened up, and I think they killed 3 or 4 balls. Iron Guts. And then my Hydra killed a few. And then the combined might of the Corsairs with Occam's Mine Razor on killed all 3 of his characters, including the guy with Fencer's Blades and Glittering Scales. I think it did about 8 wounds to him, obviously the 6s, and then re-rolling to hit. So absolutely butchered that unit. They fled, and I pursued and caught them, so they died as well. So yeah, that was a pretty decisive battle there. Very happy with how the kind of I set that up. I think that's what you need to do to beat a gut star. You need to outmaneuver them. I was hoping that, well, my backup plan was if the Corsairs actually got killed and the Witches got killed, then I'd just end up redirecting them for the rest of the game and hope to whittle them down through shooting or magic. Unfortunately in this game I didn't actually roll Pit of Shades, so I couldn't whittle them down that way. But as it turns out, it worked out really well. The shooting did amazing, but really the thing that made it happen was that withering, reducing their toughness by 3. Toughness 1 ogres are not nearly as scary, especially when you're going before them. So that did some, that really helped. And
dispelling that troll guts.
Yes, yeah, scrolling the troll guts. I had enough dice that I could have potentially dispelled it, but it's never worth that risk. I just scrolled it, and I'm really happy I did. So because I actually didn't take the flaming banner in this army, so that was really handy. It was definitely the right decision. So overall, I think the game went really well. Very happy with how the plan works out. Kind of went by the numbers for a very decisive victory, and really finally got to cast an Occam's Mine Razor in a really nice situation.
Good.
a little bit overkilly, but I certainly approved of that. But like I say, it got past the armour of the heavy armour, which would have been almost as good as a troll gut, so it's worth casting it. So yeah, overall I think everything did pretty well. The Blackguard saw some action, killed a few things. The shooting was pretty good, especially with that withering. Got to whittle them down for a turn. This Hydra served his purpose, as did the other one, although he died in the end. Hydra's not so useful against ogres because obviously you're not getting thunder stomp, so you're kind of relying on just those attacks. But they did pretty well, and that breath weapon on the reduced toughness Iron Guts was really good. Yeah, I think overall, the men of the match probably, I don't know, I think everything did really well. There's nothing really standalone that. Probably that withering actually. Yeah, no, I think everything pulled its weight. There's no real duffers either. Everything performed its role. Sorry, I'm just dying for a cough now. Since the Dark Gods have rewarded me with swift death. Yeah, so not really much else to say. I'm happy with the win, good game. I think really the no, I'm going to start coughing again. Okay, I'm going to hand you over side out. I'm pretty much done anyway. So.
Well, at least one thing went well for me, is my prayers to the Dark Lord were answered, and gave Ollie a nasty cough at the end. But unfortunately, that was all I could manage, because Ollie outplayed me royally this game. Yeah, it was pretty good. I like games like this because I don't mind losing, because it wasn't because we were. It wasn't because I was unlucky. It wasn't because Ollie was ridiculously lucky, or vice versa. It was just Ollie played better than me. So, I accept that fully. It was rather nice actually. I was a bit foolish. My game plan was essentially I wanted her to sit on my my line. I knew that with good toughness troops, the ability to Wiston's wild form guys, it would give me the option to withstand the vast majority of the shooting. Wiston's wild form would have meant he'd be wounding me on 6s, so that would have been great. So yeah, I mean it was a bit of a problem. The cannons whiffing so hard against the Hydras was a bit nasty, but I should not really rely on them to do the job. I should probably have shot both cannons at each Hydra. I would have preferred to have killed one fully outright and then actually taken the other on in close combat. That would have been a bit better, because like I say, I wiped out that Hydra pretty easy. I really like that Bulls unit. I feel it gives me more survivability than the Man-Eaters. I mean, the Man-Eaters, I can put out more attacks, or I can twink them up with added dirtiness. But in this game, I don't think that would have really made much difference anyway. Other than maybe being able to snipe his wizard if he popped his head around the corner. But yeah, well, I quite like the list as it stands. Maybe a little bit of tinkering here and there. It needs maybe a little bit of refining, something doing. But I'm playing against Dark Elves, which are a pretty hard army to deal with, and Shadow Magic is always nasty. Well, to be fair, other than the Withering, it didn't really play much part in the action. I was a bit of a fool and forgot to dispel it, where I think instead of trying to get 2 spells off, that Troll Guts and Curse of Anra, I think what I should have probably have done was tried the Troll Guts. If he dispelled it, I should have then dispelled the Withering, but then again, it wouldn't have made much odds, because he'd Occam's Mind Razored them anyway, which meant my characters were pretty screwed. And without the Crown of Command, that unit was knackered, and there was no way that with that number of guys left, I would have been able to hold off against two units like that. Even if I'd managed to get the Bulls in the front. I mean, I think had I been able to get the Bulls into that unit alone, I suspect I probably would have been able to do a lot better, because certainly I would have at least drawn, maybe even won, and then probably in protracted combat, I think I'd take him out. But yeah, kind of the game plan was supposed to be the Bulls basically support the Iron Guts, while the Mournfang were there to basically hunt these guys and then try and harry his wizard's unit. I didn't really count on this guy though. Must admit, Ollie has normally said that he refuses to take all three options. Although the spanking he got last week, he must have decided to rescind that, because he had all 3 nasty combos. But at the end of the day, the game is there to win. They're not ultimate tournament winners. It's usually, in fact, Ogres that are supposed to be the ultimate tournament winners. So there's no excuses there. Yeah, it was should have You know, should have, could have, would have. Really, what I probably should have done was, you know, tried to attack him with a Noblars, maybe knock a few wounds off of him. That would have been enough to sort of not want him to get so much into the action, and then I could have, I should have then maybe shot him up with the lead belchers, as his inverse ward save thing would have doesn't really work so well against low strength stuff. But yeah, you know, the other thing was letting this come all the way down the flank, and then actually moving behind it as well, which was essentially what lost it. I should have held back. The plan was to hold back on the gain line, let him come to me, because ultimately he can chaff me up, but it also chaffs him up as well. Because the chaff can work, in the way I had it planned, the chaff would have worked both ways, essentially, stopping him from attacking me. But yeah, I mean, that was kind of a bit of a mistake, but ultimately, yeah, Ollie earned his victory well, and it was quite funny to see an 11 dice Occam's Mind Razor cast and no miscast. I think Ollie passed it on a roll of a 39, and even though I rolled pretty high, I rolled 27 with my 6 dice. You know, I failed by quite a massive 12, so you know, there could be some hideous bloody. That would be like a perfect spell to win the game in a game of Storm of Magic with that roll, which would have been quite hilarious, because yeah, no miscast with that, and would have been bad times. But yeah, I suppose it's a matter of making the most of that, because you ain't never going to be allowed to throw more than 6 dice at a spell from now on in. But yeah, that was pretty nice. They Dark Elves have got some dirt, so I'm hoping that Crudence batters them to death with a Nerf bat, but probably not. Matt Ward will write it, and they'll be dirtier than High Elves. So they'll probably have the Banner of the World Dragon. But there will be a +1 to the ward save, and it'll allow them like a ward save against everything. That's my predictions. Certainly if Ward writes it. So yeah, with that, I think probably the man of the match was the last remainder of the Immortals, who's already famously spread the word and recruited another 9 guys back to full unit. Unfortunately, yeah, no one else performed particularly well. I think the Bulls actually, if I'm not pissing about, they did well. They killed a Hydra and they mauled that unit. And had it not been for the hero and the Pegasus, I think they probably would have got chopped up. And then I could have started to windle my way through, because in an ideal world, I would have chopped them up. You know, be using my Gutstar to work through one of those units, and then kind of start harrying him and forcing him back. And then once those are gone, and once, say, the big unit of Corsairs is gone, then the Witch Elves are relatively easy to get rid of. But I think it's those Hydras, man. They're nasty. They're quick. Handlers are bloody annoying, in that they freaking stop me from cannoning it up, and the regen on it as well is pretty nasty. Makes it a very nice monster. So yeah, we'll see what the new book brings. It can't come quick enough. So unfortunately, the Ogres have been put back in their place after curb stompings they've been handing out. So now they've taken a resounding one in return. So all it is to congratulate Ollie on a great game, and we will be off next week to see if I can think of something dirty, which will have to include the Hellheart, definitely. So yeah, see you next week.